Okay, good afternoon and welcome to Charlotte Motor Speedway. We've got a great weekend ahead of us. A lot going on. Certainly no better way to start off our afternoon of media availability than with Kyle Larson. He drives the number 42 Target Chevrolet for Chip Ganassi. And Kyle, got a couple thoughts that I'd like for you to talk about. The first one is, you know, it's Memorial Day weekend, 600 miles of remembrance Sunday with the Coca-Cola 600, where the names of fallen servicemen and women will be on the windshields of your all's race cars. Nothing like it in sports. And I know that, that this particular story hits close to home with the 42 team. If you could tell us about that, that'd be great.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty cool this weekend. NASCAR has done a great job, honoring fallen service members. And this week, my jackman Graham Molach, he's an ex-Navy SEAL, and when he was going through his training in Virginia Beach, he was roommates with Dennis Miranda, and so they lived together there for I think a little over a year, he said. And Dennis went to Iraq, and his helicopter crashed, and he had passed away. So last year was Graham's first time on our car for the 600, and he thought it'd be cool, in the future to put a friend of his or whatever on our car to honor. So Dennis, his name will be on our windshield. His family will be here hanging out, and I went to New York earlier this week and did a couple interviews with Dennis's brother Kevin. So he'll be in town here soon, and just looking forward to it. Like I said before, NASCAR has always done a great job, with this weekend and really throughout the whole year. So it'll be exciting, and hopefully we can have a good run for their family and just honor them in the best way possible.
Thank you, Kyle. I know that means a lot. And certainly, my second question is, you are knocking on the door to get your first career Sprint Cup Series win, and never been closer than you've been the last few weeks. And I go back to a driver by the name of Jeff Gordon, who I think you grew up watching. His first career win came back in, I believe, '94, if I'm not mistaken, here at the Coca-Cola 600. How cool would that be for you to get your first career Sprint Cup Series win here Sunday?
It'd mean a lot. It would it'd mean a lot to get it anywhere, but especially here at Charlotte, close to home, friends and family and all sorts of stuff, or people are here. So all the teams' families are here. So it just means a lot when you can win, in your hometown or for the race shop and all that. And so yeah, we've been rolling good the last few weeks. Hopefully we can keep the momentum going. Our car has been getting a lot faster. Everybody at the shop's been working really, really hard all year long. We started the year off not great, but everybody stayed positive and kept digging. And lately we've been bringing really good stuff to the track. So it's been really cool just to see how hard work has been paying off, and how we've been close. So it'd be nice. It'll be tough though. The 600s are a really tough race. A lot of the times, I've seen drivers in the past that run good at the All-Star race don't run good at the 600. So hopefully that's not the case this week. But we're going to work really hard to try and have a good run, and hopefully it all works out.
Thank you, Kyle. We'll take a few questions now. I think Woody Kane had one. Did you have one, Woody? We've got Summer over here. We've got Shayna here. We're going to go to Woody, Jeff Owens, and then Mike Solarte. Go ahead.
Woody Kane with MRN. Kyle, you tested the new lower downforce package at Michigan, and now we see we're going to run that a couple of times this year. I was just curious to get your thoughts on that and how you think it might be at Michigan compared to the high drag package, especially that we had last time we were there.
Yeah, it'll be a lot better than the high track racing we had. Yeah, I was a part of the test a couple weeks ago, or last week, whatever it was, and we start out the test in the our current package, and was still running pretty high speeds and a lot of wide open throttle stuff. And as we took the the rules changes and put them in the car, I only got a couple laps because it started raining, but yeah, I was already off the throttle a lot more. I think we were, about 10 mile an hour slower in the center of the corner. So I expect the racing to be really good. I think that, with you lifting, the groove will move up some. It's just gonna, hopefully be really exciting racing. I think you could see everywhere. Every racetrack we've been to this year has been much better racing, and that was just a smaller step in downforce. So another step will just make it better. We hope. I don't think it'll make it any worse. So looking forward to it. It was good to be a part of that test. We get a little bit of data. But yeah, Michigan is always a really fast track. So if we can slow down any in the middle of the corner, it's good. So and I feel like we accomplished that a little bit there at the test. So it should be a good one.
Let's go right here to Jeff Owens. Raise your hand, Jeff. We'll get your wireless.
Hey, Kyle, Jeff Owens, Sporting News. Obviously, you've come on strong in the last few weeks. What is the team or changed with the car or whatever they're doing that's giving you extra speed? And what kind of adjustments have you made as a driver?
Yeah, honestly, I don't know 100% on what they've changed. I know they've talked about getting the bodies a lot better, and I think Chad's gotten to put a little bit more of his own input into how he wants the bodies and stuff like that built. So with his experience at other teams, now I think when somebody new comes in, it takes them a few months or whatever to build the confidence to make the calls like that, the big calls to put their 100% input into it. And lately, the last probably 5 weeks or 6 weeks or so, he's gotten to do more steps of what he's done in the past or whatever, and it's showing up at the racetrack now. So and you can see in Chad as well, he's got a lot more confidence at the track, in the shop, on the radio, everything. Not that he didn't have any before, but he's quiet, but the last few weeks he's not. So it's been fun to see.
Over to the right, Mike.
Kyle here on your right. Mike Solarte, 10 Warner Cable News. 600 miles, and guys that have done this, have run this race before, they've got that experience. And there's a number of drivers that are upper 30s, early 40s that have that experience factor. You're a younger driver. There's a lot of younger drivers now making their way into the series. Does youth have an edge in some areas over experience in a 400-mile or 400-lap race like this one, where the transitions and everything? I mean, energy a positive, or do the old wily veterans still maybe have a bit of an edge over the younger guys like you?
I don't know. 600 miles honestly doesn't feel any different than 500 to me, or 400. We're still always out there racing as hard as we can the whole time. Obviously here, we start the race with the sun out and go till sundown. So I think that's where experience probably kicks in a little bit. So I would say the experienced guys probably have a little bit more of an edge over the younger guys like us who don't or who haven't experienced Charlotte going from day to night like it does here for the 600. So that's probably the biggest thing that this race has different than other ones, where most of the time we start really close to nighttime if it's a Saturday night race, or if it's a Sunday race, it's with the sun out the whole time. So this is about the only one I can think of off the top of my head that really starts in the sunlight and goes till sundown. So there's a big track change, and Charlotte has always been, to me, really temperature sensitive. So yeah, I think the experienced people probably have a little bit more of an edge over the young guys, but as far as mental or physically, I don't know if there's much of a difference.
Dustin, raise your hand. We'll get you the wireless, and then we'll go back here to Dominic.
Dustin Long, NBC Sports. I know you talked about what Chad's able to do with the cars and stuff, but these are now Hendrick chassis, correct?
No,
They're not?
they're still built in the house.
Okay.
The bodies and everything are built in the house.
Okay. And I also wanted to ask you about the Michigan test. NASCAR took off a lot of downforce this year. They're taking off more for that for next year. So how does it compare driving that car at Michigan to what you drove last year, just with all the less downforce, and how does that change what you have to do?
Well, it's been so long since Michigan last year, I don't really remember. But I know, like I said, we got to run the current package, the current 16 package, and then the even lower downforce. And there was a lot more off-throttle time with the even lower downforce. So I think that's always a plus when you can, lift, sooner. Because with the current package, there's, off wide open throttle time, but you're not ever all the way off the throttle. So with the low downforce, I was having to lift all the way off the throttle and, if you want to call it coast into the corner, both ends, which I thought was really good.
Raise your hand. Excuse me. Shane and Dominic back there in the back.
Dominic Ottego on the RacingExperts.com. Kyle, with the runs you've had the last few weeks, does it provide more momentum or more frustration for your team?
Momentum. There's, I guess you can be a little bit frustrated, but that we haven't won the last few weeks, being close. But 4 weeks ago, we couldn't even run top 20 really, unless we got lucky, and never even thought about winning a race this year. And now the last few weeks, we've come up just a little bit short and been, or at least myself, been frustrated. But like I said, we've come a long way in a really short time. So that's something to be proud of at our team. And with that comes a lot of momentum. So hopefully we can keep that momentum going. In the short time I've spent in this sport of NASCAR, but I've raced for a long time. So I know that having that momentum and confidence is such a big part of running up front every week, and we're starting to get that momentum and confidence back in our race team, and it's showing also on the racetrack. So just got to keep working hard, making the right calls, at the shop and at the racetrack, and hopefully we can stay on top of it.
I'm going to take two more questions. We're going to take my man here at Tennessee, and then we're going to finish up with Kenny Bruce.
Tucker White, SpeedwayMedia.com. Kyle, coming off last week where we tested changes to the aero package and the announcement we're going to be testing new changes to the aero package at Michigan and Kentucky, what kind of results how would the results be in a exhibition race versus doing it in a points race like we did last year at Kentucky and Darlington?
I don't know. I don't care. I don't have an opinion on that. We're just trying to benefit or make our sport better. So I don't know if it's a. I don't really have an opinion. I think it's good that they're making a call on trying to make the racing better. So whether it comes at an exhibition race or a points race, doesn't matter to me. But there's a lot more points races than exhibition races.
Final question from Kenny Bruce, right there in the middle. Kenny?
Kenny Bruce with NASCAR.com. Kyle, I realize your open wheel background, but are there any Sprint Cup tracks where you actually run the low side anywhere, and do you just automatically go out and start searching for that high side?
Sadly, there's a lot more tracks around the bottom than the top. I wish there was more that you could run the top at. 2014, I feel like I could run the top more places than I can now. I don't, for whatever reason, I don't know why, but yeah, definitely the tracks where I can move around and run up top and just find grip where other people aren't running. Those seem to be my best tracks. Bristol, Homestead, Chicago, Texas, here during the day shows, mile and a halves and stuff like that. I wish Martinsville you could run the top at, but that'll never be that way. But yeah, I've been trying to get myself better at running the bottom too the last couple of years. I think that's why you can kind of, if you go back and at the TV time I've gotten, you can probably see where I run the bottom a little bit more. Just trying to get better at that because I've learned racing stock cars now. You can look like a hero up top, but when it gets rubbered in and the groove moves back down, you also got to make the right adjustments and adjust your driving style to run the bottom. So I've been trying to get better at that. Still not great, but gotten myself a little bit better. But top side's definitely where I've been best at. I think because you can be aggressive and at a lot of tracks almost run it like a cushion on a dirt track.
Thank you, Kyle, and certainly
Thanks.
good luck this weekend here at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll shift gears now and go to the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Be running out here Saturday afternoon in the 35th annual Hisense 300. And joining us now is Ty Dillon. He drives the number 3 Bass Pro Shops Tracker Chevrolet for Richard Childress Racing. And Ty, late yesterday afternoon, your grandfather was selected as a new member of the NASCAR Hall of Fame. And I know he's your car owner, but he's also your grandfather. So just talk about what that means.
Yeah, it's first of all, it's huge moment for him, and I'm so happy and proud of him, and our whole family is. It was it's kind of unexpected. He's been in the list to be in the Hall of Fame for a couple years now, and we've been kind of disappointed the last couple years that he hadn't gotten in, and so we were kind of unexpecting it. And I was actually standing with my mom, and we got a text message, "Congratulations to your grandfather." We're like, "No way!" We weren't even expecting this year, but I'm so happy for him, and he's got a lot of titles from me. Now he's a Hall of Famer, team owner, hunting buddy, and but the most important one is he's my grandfather, and he's probably the best at that. So just so proud of him, and he came from nothing, and he's one of the last great stories you hear about somebody coming from nothing and creating a great company at RCR, a winery that's doing great in Lexington, North Carolina, and now a golf course. And he's just he's my hero, and glad that I get to spend time with him, not only in our sport, but every day at the shop and away from it when we're hunting and hanging out with the family.
Well, thank you. And then let's shift gears to Saturday's race. What would it mean to you to win a big race like that at Charlotte Motor Speedway?
It'd mean a lot, especially since my brother swept both the Xfinity races last year, and we've ran really well here in the past. And being in our backyard at home, that I feel like I've been at every single race that's raced around this track since 1992 when I was born. And for me to be able to get in victory lane, I've been in victory lane with Kevin Harvick and my brother and other people, but it's time for me to hold the trophy up. And I feel like the way we've been running the last couple of weeks with our 3 team is going to give us a great opportunity to win this weekend. It's just all about putting it together, and I know we have the speed and the ability to get it done, and I think our team is really amped up for this week.
Take questions. We'll start right here. Summer, if we could get the microphone, and then we'll move around.
Jonathan Merriman, NASCAR.com. Ty, I imagine you've talked to your grandfather since the announcement. What was that conversation like, and what was his attitude like when you talked to him?
I think at first, I called him probably 5 minutes after I found out, so I'm sure he was getting all kinds of calls. It seemed like it hadn't set in for him yet. He's a hard worker, so he's always thinking about what's going on next. And I saw him this morning. We had an appearance at Bass Pro Shops, and first thing I did was just give him a big hug because I was proud of him. And he's very happy today and excited and well deserved. He's such a focused individual about making this race team great again, and I think this is a moment that's gonna be big for him for feeling like he's finally made it. He's one of those guys that he's the first one at the shop every single day and the last one to leave, and working hard like he still did back when he had a $20 race car. So, and I think it's finally a moment for him to sit back and realize what he's accomplished, and hopefully it continues to set in for the rest of the week and the rest of his life.
Woody Kane over here to the left, Summer, right by you.
Woody came with MRN. And Ty, last week you got to do the Xfinity takeover deal in Philadelphia, and just your impressions of the energy to see the Xfinity cars racing at Pocono when you got to do that, and how much you're looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's awesome. A lot of people don't see Philadelphia as a NASCAR city, and it really is. There's so many people downtown that were huge fans of NASCAR, knew everything that was going on, and are really excited for the Pocono race, which I am too. It's one of my favorite racetracks. I like tracks that are unique, like Indy and Pocono, and the different racing styles that they bring. And probably the coolest thing is being able to do a burnout through right in front of City Hall, Town Hall in Philadelphia. I don't think many people get to do that. You see all these cool pictures of back in the day when a driver might have done an appearance in a town or a big city and drove their car through the city. I feel like that picture of doing a burnout right in front of downtown Philly and in front of the City Hall is going to be one that it gets shown a lot through NASCAR. So I thought that was a pretty cool moment in time.
Other questions for Ty? Raise your hand. Anyone else? Okay, we got a quiet group here, Ty. Well, listen, congratulations
Yep, thank you.
on the honor for your grandfather. I know that translates all the way down through the family and the race team, and good luck this weekend.
Thank you, guys.